What's happening, sports fans? How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy, and we got a good one for you today. Rasheed Wallace versus MJ, and the slander in 2024 continues. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Former NBA star Rasheed Wallace was on a recent podcast talking about all things NBA and other subjects, and Michael Jordan's name came up about defense. And this is where the conversation took a left, and Rasheed Wallace said, in his opinion, that MJ was a little bit more hype than substance. He can say it better than I can. Take a listen to this audio of what Rasheed had to say about Mike playing defense. We'll come back and I give my thoughts on his opinion. Here is Rasheed Wallace.
Mike wasn't all that good of a defender.
10 all defensive teams. That Michael Jordan.
All that's NBA. We like Mike, we gonna put him out there. I'm talking about being out there. I seen this get his ass bust where he couldn't stop against J.R. Ryder. Probably against Clyde Drexler. Don't forget the early Joe Dumars. And I'm not saying that he didn't play defense. I'm just saying that his defense wasn't as high as most other cats at that time. I couldn't put him on like 10 or 11 consecutive first team all defensive joints, dog.
Now let's kind of break down what Rasheed said about those three players he mentioned versus MJ. Starting with Clyde Drexler. Drexler averaged 20.4 points, 6.1 rebounds, 5.6 assists in 17 games versus Michael Jordan. Jordan averaged 30.1 points, 6.2 rebounds, and 5.3 assists versus Drexler, and he was 10-7 versus Clyde. Now, MJ versus Joe Dumars. Obviously, the big Pistons rivalry, it was going to be heated. Dumars averaged 15.2 points, 2 rebounds, and 3.9 assists versus MJ, who averaged 30.7 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 5.7 assists in 70 games versus the Pistons. Now, the third guy Rasheed brought up, J.R. Ryder. In 5 games between the matchup between MJ and Ryder, Ryder averaged 23.8 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 2.8 assists. MJ averaged 33.6 points, 5.4 rebounds, 4 assists, again, in those 5 games. So, again, those guys he mentioned, I get it. I mean, if you're a player in the NBA, you're gonna get yours. And playing a shooting guard, number 2, playing the number 2 position, you ain't gonna be shutting down everybody. That's just it. I get that. But MJ was Defensive Player of the Year in 1988, where he was also won the scoring title. He was All Defensive First Team 9 times. Wallace, I looked him up. He never made an all-defensive team. He's a first-round pick in 95, though, 4th overall. He's an NBA champ, won it with the Pistons in 04, and he's a 4-time NBA All-Star. But he played the power forward, and he never made an all-NBA defensive team as well. I kind of get what he's saying, but you can't deny the fact that MJ was a great on-ball defender. He led the league 3 times in steals. I don't know where he said J.R. Ryder bust his ass. No, I don't think he did. I mean, he averaged 23 points. That's cool, but he didn't go out for 50. I know people bring up the Rex Chapman game when Rex was with the Heat. I think he went, for 49 or 50 on Mike? But nobody talks about the following night, Mike shut him down, and Mike went for, 40, 45. So, again, some players going to have a night where they go off. But to say that Joe Dumars, Clyde Drexler, and J.R. Ryder was busting MJ's ass, I think that's a little far-fetched. The numbers say otherwise. And a lot of the other NBA players and those that vote for Defensive Player of the Year, they thought otherwise too. But I'd like to know your thoughts on Rasheed Wallace's comments on his North Carolina alum, saying that his defense wasn't all that. I'd like to know your comments on that. Make sure you drop a comment, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. I am Kendrick, the sports guy. We will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.